the chair of the Yolo County Fire Safe Council, and I'll welcome and call the meeting to order. So the first action item, if you guys have taken a look at the draft agenda, is to approve the agenda for today's meeting. There we go. And if not, you've got a chance to review it now.
I would move, it's Don Palm with the Red Cross. I'd move that we adopt that agenda.
And a second?
KP Valley seconds.
There you go.
Okay. I'll call for a saying of aye, wait a moment, and then nay. So all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? It looks like that has passed. So action one or item number 2 is completed. Item number 3, action to approve the minutes from the March 22nd meeting. So for those who were there or have read it, do we have a motion or discussion?
This is Neil. I move to approve the minutes.
And this is Moira. I second.
All right, voting the same as before. All in favor? Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Minutes are approved. So the next action is to call and approve the vice chair. Chief Jack Snyder from Winters Fire Department has agreed to be nominated for the position, but is out of state today. So we could, and we could also open it for additional nominations. So we could decide to go ahead and make the approval or wait until we meet them.
There's a lot of tradition behind nominating someone when they're out of the room. I say we go ahead.
Right. If that's
And
a
I
motion,
second
if that's a
that.
motion, I'll second.
Okay, wait, what, who did? Start
Do
that
we have
over
a
again?
quorum?
Oh, yes, thank you. Do we have a quorum?
Yes, we have a quorum.
Yay.
Okay, so we have a motion to go ahead and nominate from KP Valley. And some discussion. Any other discussion or a second?
IHSS, Kate from IHSS will second.
Okay. We've got a motion and a second, and I'm not hearing any other discussion or nominations, but I'll hold for a moment.
I will just say that I have met Chief Snyder. I had a meeting with him a couple months ago when he first started, and he seems like a lovely guy, and I was really glad that he stepped up. I did not pressure him. He did volunteer. So.
Okay. Well, in that case, I think I'll call for the vote again. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? I guess hearing none. That next action on 5. So, or that action, we've now have a vice chair, and moving on to member announcements.
Very exciting. Well, I usually have an announcement, but I don't have any, but we do have an action-packed agenda. But I would like to hear if folks have anything going on.
Let me just say real brief that we were happy with Red Cross to be able to go out to KP Valley and meet with folks and do some hands-only CPR training and work on preparation a little bit out there. So that was great, and we thank them for their hospitality.
This is Kate Laddish from IHSS Advisory Committee, and Yolo Healthy Aging Alliance, in conjunction with the Yolo County Commission on Aging and Adult Services, has been doing a series of 4 emergency prep workshops with particular attention to older adults and people with disabilities. And I think 3 of the 4 have happened. And so it's in each of the 3 incorporated cities. We could take the show on the road if need be. But I want to give a special thanks to Kristen Wayvoda for joining us, especially to talk about a alerting system within that. So this is partly an announcement, but largely it's a big thanks.
And Kate, you said there was one more meeting?
There's one more. It's in Woodland next week. And I can't remember the date, but I could get it to you.
Okay, or if you could find it and put it in the chat
Sounds good.
while it's fresh in people's minds. Cool, thank you. So I'm going to stop sharing for the next item so we can all see each other.
I was just going to add, I don't know if you can hear me. This is Tracy. We're going to be doing some cool stuff over the weekend with the Migrant Worker Center, sharing a bunch of information in Spanish with with Catholic Charities and Lisa. Maybe Tanya, you could add to that.
Yeah, it's going to be 10 to 2. Is that right? They'll be tabling and different topics for folks, basically welcoming workers back for farming season and giving them information they need to know, including disaster preparedness. And I believe the Red Cross is also involved with that. Patricia Davis contacted me. So Tracy will have some bilingual stuff from the California Fire Safe Council and from us to share with folks.
Hi, Tanya. This is Gary Hensley with Pleasance Valley Fire Safe Council. Just wanted to mention that we had a successful wildfire safety expo that was held April 15th. We partnered with Green Valley and had 35 vendors, several fire departments, and just all kinds of horses, bounce houses. It was very well attended, our first event. So we're pretty excited about how that went.
That sounds like a really well-organized event.
Thank you.
Lots of activities.
Okay. Any more member announcements? Guess if not, we'll move on to the discussion, which is the frequency of Fire Safe Council meetings, monthly, quarterly, or every other month.
Anya, can you, there.
Yeah, I can see everybody.
I'll just chime in. I think we brought that up at the last meeting. Now that the CWPP is complete, and we have that document now, which is signed and ready to take action. That work is done, and we may not need to meet as often. So I think there was discussion about every other month versus quarterly. Okay, cool.
And the one thing I'd throw out there is, as we get to the holidays, the end of the year, we probably want to meet after Thanksgiving, but maybe not at the last, towards the very end of December, because there might be things, however we set the schedule, or not at all, or that was the only thought I had, that
You just skip December essentially.
either skip it or meet early because both the end of November and the end of December end up getting hard for people to schedule. And
I just had a thought. Maybe we should shuffle this item down to the end of the meeting after we've gone through all of our stuff and see, after hearing everything we're talking about, if that'll move you to want to meet monthly or every other month, et cetera, et cetera. Does that sound reasonable?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
I guess,
Yeah.
for your own reports.
Okay, well, the first report is actually from the Office of Emergency Services. So Kristen, I see that you're here. Take it away.
Thanks, Tanya. Do you want me to do the T-Mobile part now, or is that later in the agenda?
That's the special, yeah, that's after reports, a special presentation.
All right. So for OES, we don't have too much to report on at the moment. We have some delays in our chipper program. We've had to take the contract back to the board for additional approvals, and we're currently working out between county council and procurement if we're gonna have to go out to RFP to locate a chipper because the process wasn't followed in the beginning. So there's some delays happening in the chipper program, but we'll continue to work through that and try and expedite it as soon as possible because we know how important that is. Outside of that, most of my report is saved for T-Mobile. We had that earmark of $800,000 to look into improving access and alert and warning through our high fire zones. And I've been working with our cellular companies, and we have T-Mobile on, and that's our special report. That's going to do a presentation on some of the barriers and some of the solutions to our communication issues in the area. So we're still working on how we can improve alert and warning up in our high fire zone. But outside of that, I have nothing else to report out on.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yes, you may.
Is the chipper program that you're talking about the one that was running all last year? The what was it? The flood control district was operating the machine, but it was owned by RCD or something like that.
It was owned
Correct.
by, it was owned by Flood Control District, not us.
Yeah, it's a flood control district thing, but it's in partnership with. So we're just working through that right now. Flood control is still providing the service. We're just coming up with some payment issues, which might delay some additional chipping programs as we work through the contract.
Got it. Thank you.
I have a question. This is Neil Van Alphen from the West Winters Fire Safe Council. Could you give us an update on the fuel reduction project that's been funded, and we've been have the right of entry permits and everything, just waiting for the fuel to be reduced?
I do not have an update on that right now. Kurt is the person in my office who is overseeing that program, and he was unable to meet this meeting, but I can have Kurt follow up with you.
Thank you.
Kristen, do you have any other early action funding updates outside of the chipper program and the fuels reduction project with the Winters group? Because there was other projects originally approved by the Board of Supervisors. Not to put you on the spot, but I
do not. Again, that program was being managed 100% by Kurt, and he's continuing on to manage that program. He's slowly working to update Chris, our new employee, on some of that. So when Kurt's hours get limited, we'll be able to have a little bit more depth to the program, but I will need Kurt to follow up and provide those updates.
Okay, thank you.
And speaking of Christopher, Kristen, would you like to introduce him or have him introduce himself?
I will allow him to introduce himself, but Christopher Estrada is our new emergency services planner. He started about almost a month ago now, and I'll let Chris take the floor.
Very much. Like Kristen said, I am the new emergency services planner. I'm new to this area. I'm new to the position, so I'm learning as I go, quickly and efficiently, so I could assist in anything that you all may need help with. And I look forward to working with you guys down the road and just kind of getting into the flow, into the rhythm of things as we progress forward.
Christopher, this is Moira with Cape Valley. Welcome to the chaos.
Thank you very much.
It's not that chaotic.
Chaos is fun. Anything else is boring.
Welcome to the lovely group of people who make all this cool stuff happen, along with some folks who aren't here as well. Okay. So I'm ready to dive into my coordinator report. Hopefully folks are using the YOLOfiresafe.org events for this. There's nothing unusual except that our next meeting is TBD, which we will talk about at the end of the meeting. We had a prescribed burn association and Winters, a PBA meeting in Winters last week, and I have another one in Esparto May 18th. Severa is meeting just about every Wednesday. West Winters Fire Safe Council is searching for a time to meet soon, and Karen is here from Solano to give us an update on the Solano Fire Safe Council, but the next meeting is the 15th of May. PV is May 18th, and our brown bag meeting is tomorrow. And then just to show you where we are in our CWPP process, we're done.
Yay!
Yeah. I feel like framing it, but then it would be very useful framed. But it is, the latest version is available on our Fire Safe Council website. So that's it for the coordinator report. And then I think the next report is, the other thing I wanted to tell you folks about. So the Pleasants Valley Fire Safe Council, and maybe Gary can speak to this more, has been working with the Solano County to do an Ag Pass program, which is basically if you're a commercial livestock or ag business, which folks here may not be, but they might know somebody. You can go through a training to get an ag pass to get into your property after a disaster has happened. And that's something you have to work with the agricultural department. And I'm wondering if there's any interest, or if anyone has any intel on folks who might be interested in that, if we wanted to try to work with our ag department to do that, since the Solano County Ag department is already blazing the trail for that.
And Tanya, I can actually provide a little bit of an update. I met with our ag commissioner the past few weeks. We've met on and off a few times, kind of checking on our status. They started trying to make an ag program and an ag pass program that died off a little bit, but we are helping our ag commissioner with taking his outline and turning it into a plan. And have had a few meetings with Sam Machado from the sheriff's office and Stephanie from animal control on trying to get something up and running for this fire season, and also in partnership with CAL FIRE to do some of the training to make sure we can get this going. But it might be a little bit rough this fire season, but the goal is to try and help support our ag commissioner and our ag team to get this program up and running, because in essence, we've been doing it informally in the past, but trying to make more of a formal program to make it safer and more accessible for our ranchers and our animals up in the Capay Valley.
Excellent. That's great news. Okay, so we'll keep folks posted on that.
Yeah, those of us west of Winters would also appreciate that.
After the LNU, there was a lot of horse owners, not just on the Solano side, but on the Yolo side. So yeah, I would second that, what Neil said.
And chiming in from Solano County, this is Karen Young. Kristen, as the Ag Pass program gets discussed in Yolo, one of the concerns that we've heard from a lot of residents in Solano County is that the Ag Pass program is great for commercial producers, but it does not meet the needs of people who fall under the minimum number of heads or number of hives, or their operation is not income generating. And for one reason or another, they're not able to evacuate their animals through Solano Cart or something like that. So I think if there's someone, the lesson learned to share from Solano, at least that we've heard from people who have not been able to participate in it, is include an option for small producers or for people who have animals that aren't necessarily an income generating enterprise.
Thank you. That's a great point. And Chris is actually on this call, my planner, and he's helping us and the Ag Commissioner on this plan. So we'll make sure we make note of that.
Yeah, this is Neil again. You know, many of our folks living west of Winters are what you would classify as small farmers. And so they're small acreage farmers and direct marketing type, as well as in some cases with animals. So, you know, I hope it doesn't limit that type of farmer from being able to participate in this type of program.
No, those are great points, and we'll make sure that this program is inclusive and allows access for the majority who have animals in our high fire risk zones that we evacuate on a regular basis.
And this is Micah Bennett from Cape Valley, and I second that completely. I appreciate the effort for the small producers or owners.
One of the issues that we focus heavily on animals, but trees and vines take 4 to 5, 6 years to get into production after they're destroyed. So the loss for these small producers is enormous when a fire destroys their vines or trees. So it's really important if they can get in and make sure that they're protected.
That's great. I'm glad to hear you're working on that. So I wasn't sure where to start, but I knew it was a need. That's all I have. So I'm going to pass it over to Kate Reza for our grant updates.
Oh, I'm not muted. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're doing well this afternoon. And I am going to share my screen just briefly because there's not a lot new to show or tell you about. I do have something upcoming to talk about. So this is, let's see, we're at grant opportunities with deadlines. This is one coming up, and the wildfire smoke preparedness and community buildings application due date is May 9th, which is getting a little tight. And then just a reminder, all these ongoing funding activities, the CAL FIRE's volunteer fire capacity grant, the free virtual workshops to wildland fire departments, fire prevention programs, all of these more small dollar amounts might be useful if you just have a small need. So if you do think of something you could use grant funding for, and one of the cool things is a lot of these no match. So if you have something that pops up, you know, just try to remember to check in on these spreadsheets and see if there's anything that matches your project. There's one other opportunity that's coming up. Oops. And it was due to be approved today. It's the Strategic Growth Council's Community Resilience Center program round 1. It's their first Community Resilience Center's funding program, and it should have been approved this morning. according to the agenda and updates. And the Community Resilience Centers program will fund new construction and upgrades of neighborhood level resilience centers to provide shelter and resources during climate and other emergencies. Program also funds year-round services and ongoing programming that will build overall community resilience. So, and the bonus, the state is doing this a lot, is that SGC, the Strategic Growth Council, is providing technical assistance to applicants to help applicants develop competitive applications. So the state in a lot of the applications is, especially the climate related capacity building applications, is putting a lot of effort into making sure everyone has the capacity to submit a good application. So I am going to put the link to this community resilience centers, because I know at least one participant, Elaine, that has interest. So I'm going to put that in the chat so you can keep abreast of it. And when it comes out, I will be sure to have Tanya notify you, Elaine, and anyone else who might be interested. And of course, it'll go up on the grants funding spreadsheet.
Fantastic.
So, okay, good. And yeah, I think that's it for my update. And then follow-up is Heather's going to give a brief an update on the wildfire prevention grants that we submitted last month. So take it away, Heather.
Okay, so we submitted a $5 million proposal to CAL FIRE for the wildfire prevention program to get mostly implementation funding for our CWPP projects. And so it's in application, but we were alerted by CAL FIRE that the program was highly oversubscribed. And so we were in discussion with CAL FIRE. They have essentially asked us to apply for what is ending up being much less than that, $450,000 all told. And basically funding the first year or two for planning, finishing the planning, which means project planning. So taking the projects identified in the CWPP and fuels reduction program, fuels reduction projects, taking it to the level of shovel readiness, and also standing up all the CEQA that we need for the various kinds of treatment. We will still be working with the Solano RCD, and most important, most importantly, I feel, is that Suvera's program will get to be fully funded in terms of their equipment and tools and supplies, as well as some maintenance funds to keep those things going. We had to ask CAL FIRE if they could find some extra funds to make that happen after they first told us how much money they could give us. But I'll just say that it's just unexpected times. Clearly, everyone in the region is putting in funds. We weren't the only group to get a severe reduction in the application we were asked to provide. CAL FIRE, our local CAL FIRE staff colleagues are super supportive of the proposal that we put forward. It's just that at this moment, what they're trying to do, and I think is keep all of the good proposals, getting them started, and then asking for reapplications next year to fully fund them. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. We will be able to get started and do most of what we wanted to do in year one of the project. and then, like I said, reapply. So there's a, this is not an award either. So this is just our application. So things may change a little bit even more, or we may not get funded. There's still that possibility. So this is just resubmitting our application for, instead of a 5-year project, a 1 or 2 year project. And the funding, much less than we had originally planned for. So that's the update. We'll probably know for sure in the next couple of month or two, maybe August by the time we know for sure what's happening. But this is one of the reasons I brought up, the early action funding. If there is any early action funds that could get other things started, now would be a great time to do that, because CAL FIRE is just not going to have all of that ready for us when we need it. I'll put in a plug for that. We're still going to be looking. We're still looking for all kinds of other funds and tracking as much as we can and utilizing the grant funds we do have. So that's my update. It's we're still kind of absorbing it. Does anybody have any questions about it in particular? We made sure we communicated with Severa and what was going on there, Solano RCD, and our staff and everything.
If I could, as Jesse from KP Valley, just thank you all again for all of the hard work and effort that you put on that grant. And it's disappointing that they're not going to be able to fund the whole thing, but thank you so much.
Well, I mean, the bright side is it forced us to really think about the next few years, and it's a great outline about how to move forward. So we're going to use the work that was done. And like I said, CAL FIRE really would like to fund the whole thing eventually. So it's not for nothing. Absolutely. But thank you for that. It was a big effort, but it was good to take the CWPP and really try to figure out how are we going to do all this and get that started. All right. Thanks for your support, everybody.
Well, here at the RCD, we're used to what we call adaptive management, which is changing things based on things that we can't control. So we are adapting. And yeah, hopefully we can help make the KP Valley more fire safe and focus on becoming a fire wise community. So if anyone does not have any more questions for Heather, I'm going to turn it over to Allie, who is covering two different topics. So Allie, to you.
Hi everyone. I'll just give a quick update about the Prescribed Burn Association. So we had our April PBA meeting last Thursday at the Winters Fire Department. The meeting was really about the nitty-gritty for permitting and compliance around prescribed burning. And yeah, I was at the Winters Fire Department. Our next one is May 18th. That's a Thursday. And it's from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Esparto Community Hall. And it'll feature a presentation with California burn boss Phil Dye. It's really this next meeting is really in prep for our first demonstration burn, which will be happening sometime in early to mid-June, maybe a little later depending on our burn window. And he's really just going to walk us through the burn plan and tips and tricks for prescribed burning and how to conduct a safe prescribed burn and maybe some fire ecology, burn objectives, that sort of thing. It'll be a great opportunity for people to ask any questions they have about any logistics with prescribed burning, or if you have any hesitations around prescribed burning or any of that. He's a great resource, and he definitely loves to chat. So it'll be a great presentation. So yeah, we're hoping you can make it out. Again, that's in Esparto at the community hall right next to the fire department, the Scouts cabin or community hall, and it'll be on May 18th. And that information is up on the yolofiresafe.org website on the events calendar if you're looking for it. And yeah, we're another update for the PBA. We're giving a presentation for the Ramsey Improvement Association next week. That's something that that they asked of us. And so if anyone from any of these groups that are here today, or if you know anyone that would like to have a presentation about the PBA, it's really just an opportunity for us to connect with the community. And like I said previously, answer any questions. If there's any hesitations or concerns, or you just want to learn more about how to integrate prescribed fire in your area, just let us know. You can reach out to me. I'll drop my email in the chat, or you can reach out to our PBA coordinator, Bailey Adams. I'll also drop her email in the chat. And so, yeah, that's it for PBA. Does anyone have any questions about the Prescribed Burn Association?
Looks like Tracy, yeah, has her hand up.
Yeah, hi, Allie. I want to put out for people who are interested in being part of that first demonstration burn, we're wanting to get a sense of how many people might want to participate at some level as a burner versus maybe coming to observe, and so be thinking about that, start gathering that information as Phil develops the burn plan. And so if you are interested, then reach out to Bailey and let her know, and she's going to develop something to kind of track, you know, what if you have any experience or not, and it's okay if you don't. If you want to come out and learn, that's the idea of a PBA. And then if you need gear, what you might have, you know, do you have good boots and leather gloves, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yep, great point, Tracy. Yeah, we're developing maybe like a Google form that folks can fill out that'll ask some questions, and that's still in development. So when that's ready, we'll send that out to everyone if you want to register for the June burn. And yeah, the burn, I think, will have opportunities for people to participate in the burn, but also if you just want to observe a prescribed burn, you've never seen one before, and you want to see how it goes, then that'll also be an option. So yeah, thanks, Tracy. Any other questions? All right, I'll move into my general outreach update for the Fire Safe Council. The next date that we have on the books is our Duck Days, which is this weekend, March 29th. Yeah, April 29th, sorry. And that's an all-day event out at the Yolo bypass. We're tabling for the Fire Safe Council. We're going to have a game that was generously provided by Karen from Solano RCD. And we're just going to be talking to people and probably lots of kids about being fire safe and defensible space and all that stuff. So that'll be exciting. And then programs update, we've had a bunch of address sign requests, which is really awesome. So if you have neighbors that want an address sign and you want to submit one for them, and you live in Western Yolo County in the high fire area, feel free to get in contact with me, and we can get that address sign made for you. The program applications are on our website, so you can find it there. We're hoping to have another chipper day very soon. We had some interest, and I'm trying to connect with a couple landowners to get something going up in the Cape Valley. And then Tanya and I were actually just chatting about potentially making some roadside signs, little sign, what did you call them? Like sort of like the political signs that people put in their yards.
Like the yard signs, yeah,
lawn
signs.
Lawn signs, thank you. Lawn signs to advertise our programs. And so we might be in touch with folks living in Winters or Cape Valley for good locations to put those so we can advertise those programs. Does anyone have any questions about any of the updates I just gave?
How much funding is still left for the address signs? Are we nearing the end of that program, or does it still seem like we've got capacity?
We just ordered more of the physical signs. So it's mostly just our, time to manage the program, which Allie mostly does 99% of. And yeah, we're good for a bit.
Awesome, thank you.
So don't be shy.
Yeah, don't be shy.
Is that it, Allie?
Yep, that's all for me.
Okay, moving on to Community Fire Safe Council reports. We have Cape Valley. So Moira, do you have anything to report?
No, actually, we don't. We have already started planning the October wildfire prevention week events. So it won't sneak up on us this year. And other than that, really don't have anything to report right now.
Excellent. And I see Gary's here from Pleasance Valley, and he already talked about the Wildfire Expo. Is there anything else you want to give us an update on?
No, we're all recovering after that. Actually,
bet.
David Stevens is down with COVID the day after that event, but he's getting better. We as a group were really focused in on that, and coming up, we're doing some planning for the summer, including a family picnic event to be held in June.
Will that be like a Fire Safe Council picnic?
Yes, Fire Safety Council picnic for Pleasance Valley area.
Great, thank you. And West Winters.
We really don't have anything to report.
Okay, that concludes our reports. Oh, no, it does not. Karen. Sorry, I just zipped right down. Please give us an update on the Solano Fire Safe Council.
So we had our last meeting on Monday, April 17th. We focused on regional preparedness efforts and needs and some very interesting discussions. From that, we'll be posting the recording and a recap with notes soon. So keep an eye on our website. Our next meeting is coming up on Monday, May 15th from 5:30 to 7. The discussion will focus on alert tools. So we will be sending out the invite for that in the next few days. A reminder that our website for the Solano Fire Safe Council is live at solano.fsc.org, and that will be where we are posting all of our future meeting updates and announcements, recordings, etc. Other things from Solano County, our CWPP is still in process. The contractor SWCA is still soliciting feedback from that, and we hope to have an updated draft of that to share soon. And the county is hosting a Wildfire Community Preparedness Day on May 6th from 10 to 2 at 675 Texas Street in Fairfield. And I can put those details in the chat box. That is it from Solano County.
Thank you. And could you put the Fire Safe Council website in the chat also?
Yes.
Thank you. Looking forward to that. So that concludes our reports. So I'll turn it back over to Jonathan.
Well, I mean, okay. I guess the big question is, has our the T-Mobile staff and engineers, have they joined and are prepared for the special presentation, and are they able to share?
So we are unusually over time now. But that was worth it to hear the behind the scenes mapping.
Do you at least want to set the next meeting and then kick the discussion about, the long-term frequency of meeting to the next meeting? Or continue that discussion now for everybody who stayed around? We had the longer meetings when we got started.
Yeah, interesting. Well, do you want to just do a quick poll and see how the remaining folks are feeling about monthly versus every other? And Bill, as he was leaving, had a vote for quarterly.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not as a high fire zone as most of the rest of the group.
Tanya, it'd be helpful for me to understand kind of what the cycle is of when we might need to be considering different things, like whether it's grants that are coming up or.
True. So should we get our planning grant, we may need some input on that. But we'll likely also be working with the community fire safe councils. Heather, I don't know if you have any more input as well.
Well, I just, my only, my thought is that there seemed to be informal consensus about decreasing our frequency at this time. And there was observation of less folks coming to the meetings. So it seems natural to decrease the frequency, and especially we've got our our local fire safe councils that are meeting more regularly now. So and then we're always here too, as you as the coordinator, we're always available. We could put out a monthly, I was just brainstorming here, the RCD could put out a monthly update if that, I just made that up. I hope no one strangles me.
We kind of do anyway. Yeah.
But if that seemed important, or that could be connected with the the fire safe council fire safe. What am I saying? The Yolo County Fire Safe Council's website also is right there, so we can be using that as our update interface. So I was just throwing out a few ideas. I think meeting every other month or quarterly could work, given what we're doing. And if there's something really coming up, we could call it a meeting.
We could call a meeting. Yeah, that's what I was going to say too.
This is Neil. I would say that the frequency in the wintertime can be fairly infrequent, as somebody had mentioned before. But I think during the summer, when there's a lot happening, particularly if there are fires and a lot of activity around fires, that's when sharing information is I think really important. So I would say that if we're going to have, infrequent, I would say in the winter that would be appropriate, and early spring. Summer, maybe every other month would be okay. Try it, see how it goes.
Tanya, another possibility is you could schedule monthly meetings and then just let us know if you don't have much to report. And so you cancel the meeting.
Or especially action items.
That way it's on everybody's calendar to be monthly, but you only meet when it's necessary.
Yep, a lot. I mean, it's a lot of this has to do with kind of the questions about grant funding, what kind of support you guys need as well. And if there's no action item on the agenda, then we could just drop it. I think that's a great idea.
And
Tracy put in the chat that many fire safe councils don't meet during high fire season anyway. Because folks like Jesse and Eric are too busy.
I was just gonna say, y'all are welcome to schedule whatever you would like for the summer, and I will make it if possible.
Yeah.
Well, the nice thing about having standing meetings and we can cancel them is we don't have to schedule anything. It's already on everyone's calendar and it just goes off. That's great.
Come back and a little bit later date and revisit near term, keep the standing meeting as the consensus.
I guess as long as it's not too confusing, right? But I sent out my report a week before, and I could say, here's the report, no meeting next week, but you're welcome to contact me with questions.
Yeah, that sounds very reasonable. That way you can kind of control when you think we should meet, because I think we don't know.
Yeah.
It's probably less of us bringing things to your attention than you're bringing it to us.
Right.
That T-Mobile presentation was really, that was really interesting.
Yeah, that was great.
I like it when stuff like that pops up, and particularly for me, during the fall, winter, that's, rolling into like nowish, that's really when the bulk of our prep work can happen. And that's when, you know, spring is when the bulk of my outreach needs to happen so that people are preparing their defensible space. And then fall, winter is the only time that I've got a chance to be able to dash off like a grant application. So, you know, those times of year are quiet generally from a wildfire perspective, but that's usually when, you know, we'll kind of like take a deep breath in November and then roll up our sleeves to get all the administrative crap done before everything catches on fire again.
Okay, well, we'll try that. So do you want to not have a meeting next May or next month?
Well, that's kind of up to you.
Okay,
Do you
okay.
think
Keep
we
it on your
need to?
calendar.
Yeah, I would say keep it on our calendar. We haven't had a meeting yet where it was filled with hot air. We had productive meetings when you look back over the last year and a half. So
Great.
I think unless we're going to make the meetings much longer and have them less frequently, I think we're still going to find there's a lot of work that needs to get done each month.
Also, I programmed my phone to remind me every month that this meeting was happening.
want to
I
change that.
don't remember how to stop it.
Well, I think too, the having it regularly once a month is a definite, so that, you know, people don't get confused, because once you start going to every other month, it gets confusing. You know, and then people are going to tend to drop off even more.
Yeah, I was on a
transition into fire season. Sorry about that. Is there a way we could do them in the morning?
Well, there's an interesting question. The reason we set the 4 p.m. is we're trying to get people who had regular jobs that were volunteering. So we didn't want to, you know, cut folks out who, you know, have to report to work and can't take off an hour for a meeting.
I understand.
So yeah, that was the logic behind this time.
in terms
Go
of
ahead,
the,
Kate.
oh, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to be jumping over you. In terms of the every other month, I mean, I was on a city commission that for a while, well, for years was meeting every other month. And what would happen is that people would forget.
Right.
And so, yeah, so having something on the calendar regularly, it does make it so that it's at least it's on your mind, and like has been said, in your calendar, if you figured out how to make it show up every month.
That way. Okay.
I hear you. I just got that program too.
Well, we can certainly address it again at our next meeting, whenever that is.
Well, I think we're taking our cue from you. I mean, it's really what you think. If you think we need to meet, then we need to meet. That's kind of the bottom line. And then if someone also has something that they need to contribute, they can contact you and say, hey, look, we really need a meeting.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And if it's a short meeting, if people just have short updates, then hey, fine, then we're done. And but I've so many conversations have come from some of the different updates. And that's been really useful.
Yeah, it's good to stay in touch.
Yeah.
Are we still keeping a May meeting on the agenda, and it may get canceled?
That sounds wise.
Or be a short meeting.
Sounds good to me.
Yep.
So at that point, or other discussion?
Sounds like a
Motion to
plan.
All right, so without a formal vote, well, or to accept the May meeting at and then to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I guess, thank you.